Okay, hi you guys. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday with Yolanda. I'm here with Naomi and Adam Masters. And
Hi.
so today we're going to talk a little bit about what she specializes in, which is human design. So I'm just going to read a couple of things about Naomi here, and then we're going to ask some questions. So um, her website says, people often ask Naomi, how did you become so heart-centered? And she says, my health and happiness purely comes from the enormity of my impact in producing a powerful supply of steady support and guidance for your life in order to transform your world into an ongoing theme of true joy, bliss, and harmony by focusing on strictly the essentials in life. Everyone desires to live their purpose. Ultimately, that is more about a state of being rather than any external role. Bringing your radiance into the world and anchoring it down via your physicality yields core stability in your life. It is a true satisfaction and you can experience it for yourself. Let's see. So, how wonderful will it be when every action in your life aligns to your designs? Core stability is when your inner being comes into direct alignment with your outer life. It is true fulfillment when we activate your bodily incarnation together, root you in your inner purpose, and pave the way for your radiance to emerge. I revel in witnessing the breakthroughs my clients experience with my multiplicis, multiplicis multiplicious shortcuts to a thriving, optimized life. And that's, I'll just leave the rest. We've got also your soul medicine woman. Um, that whole phrase kind of came up when I was looking at your website, and I was curious to know more about that. So you call
Oh,
yourself the soul medicine woman. I love that.
yes, it is. It's all about being heart-centered. And thank you. I was just trying to silence our notifications here. My specialty is connecting to the heart. I just love to get to know people for who they really are and find their juice that empowers them. It's what makes life worth living. It's what gives us our purpose and our design. And by looking into the core wound that we carry with us from infancy and walk that through how it's affected our life through childhood
Hmm.
and young adulthood, and how it's still operating in our life, opens up a flowering of core talent. And with that, you can really start playing with it and apply it to many different spheres. It's not just one purpose that we have. It turns out that it is multiplicious, like you were
I
reading
love
here.
that word. I don't think I've ever heard that word before. That's why I kind of got stuck on it. I'm like, wait a minute, what is this word? It's incredible.
Right? And it's what you have, like we were talking yesterday when we did your session with your multiplicious talents. How did you feel about the session we did after we talked for
Yeah,
and
so I had a session with Naomi yesterday. It was beautiful. We went into many of the layers, and I felt like it brought a lot of light into what I had already been kind of had a hunch about, but it wasn't quite clear. And so it brought a lot of clarity into some of the things I've been looking at right now, some of the changes I've been going through. So, um, for example, I think we were talking about, oh gosh, I should have grabbed my notes, but there was just a lot of wealth of information and layers, which I love. Can you guys hear me okay?
yeah,
Yeah,
we can
it's all within you.
hear.
Yes. It is. Yes. So it was just more of like highlighting what I already know, but helping give me more of a direction and confirmation. I'm all about confirmation. I don't know about anyone else out
True,
there,
because
but
you already do have the answers within you, and hearing
right.
someone else say them makes you say to yourself, "Oh, well, I knew that."
Yeah, like yes, and then you feel empowered. Yeah.
Yes, trust your intuition more, and you have more confidence in your direction. And confidence is everything.
Right. And it did. In fact, I today I felt like I had this renewed sense of purpose, which felt really good. I haven't felt that in a while. So I think it's because I am multiplicious that
Yes,
I sometimes get scattered with my energy. So it really helped me to, I'm a multi talented, multi interest person. So it helped me to kind of zone in on what I need to focus on right now, which is, I think, could help a lot of people for sure. I'm sure that's the blessing of what the work that you do, that you offer.
Yes, and your zone in, as it turned out, was to be expansive and to follow your interest into whatever your passions are at that moment.
And just weaving that, right? Instead of beating myself up for having those interests.
Right. So you are not a nose to the grindstone kind of girl. That
Yeah.
would kill your prosperity.
Right.
That would be the shadow of dullness.
Yeah.
And for her, she's just a fluorescence. She needs to walk in her magnetism, which is your genius.
Yeah, I like to add to it. But I hear a lot about people wanting to connect to consciousness, but that's boring. And I don't think it can happen because we're so fragmented. But we can all connect to laughter and fun and just following, this idea of bliss. But what is bliss? It's just feeling good and knowing who you are and knowing your faults and working with them, but accentuating and stepping into your power. What is your power? What is your core,
Right.
where are your banjo strings? And
We've heard lots about intelligence quotient, but what Adam is talking about here is a spiritual quotient. And your spiritual quotient isn't your ability to be pious and condescending towards those around you who aren't measuring up to your high standard of excellence and and the propriety of your behavior. It turns out spiritual quotient is about finding your bliss, your ecstasy. It's about being the happiest person you could possibly be without drugs or additives, but just high on life.
and I see it's easier when you align to your potential. So if you do these sessions, I did one and I aligned with my potential. I must be invited to help people heal rather than just tell them.
Right. So
And
for
so
people that
being
don't
invited
know,
makes it so
oh,
much.
right. Yeah. So can you guys see me? Because it keeps giving me a weird notification that the connection is unstable. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Do
Yes,
thumbs
you're
up.
looking good.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so one question about that, just for the people that are tuning in that have never heard of human design. That's what I wanted to begin with is what is it? I know it's a chart. Most people know it's a chart. So can you give us like sort of a simplified version of what that is, what the human design is?
It's a challenge to simplify human design because human design is a combination of many different modalities. There's 5 or 6 different modalities, including the Kabbalah, the I Ching, the astrology, and then there's this body design thing, which is 88 days before you were born, which is the intelligence of your physicality. And you don't know anything about it. It's your subconscious. Your conscious is your astrology, and it's the trajectory that you are on for all of your lifetimes.
Numerology.
And it also encompasses numerology, yes. And then your body has a wisdom that has heretofore been unacknowledged. We've had the knowledge, but not really how to access it. It's who your body really is in this lifetime. So it's really fun to see those innate urges coming out and know exactly how to access them in this world. For example, you'll know what your day job is. You'll know what your prosperity code is. You'll know the right people to work with. You'll know the right team members to accumulate around you, because none of us is an island. And it's really important that we realize that we're here to work together. We're here to be in cooperation with one another and build something really grandiose and beautiful as a community with synergy and synarchy, which happens to be one of your gifts, where you prefer to see the world instead of a hierarchy. We're all working together. Each of us has something to contribute. And that's really beautiful that you see the world that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Our goal is to make life easier and funner and less work, more fun, less pain.
Right. Well, and so what you were saying about just how it is very complex, but what comes to mind when you were speaking, even in our session, was wow, knowing thyself is such an important key to working in synergy or synarchy with others. It's because if you're kind of so busy, wrapped up in your old patterns and things that really are out of alignment with who you are, that's to me what causes chaos and the bad, people having leadership issues and things like
Right.
that.
Even the great leader Jesus Christ said, "The kingdom of God is within you. It's
Hmm.
not in a church building. It's within you."
So the goal moving forward is uniting. Yeah, waking up, whatever, that's nice, but it's uniting is the next step to waking up. And then it's coming out of your patterns and habits and trying something new. And then seeing the results, of relief and cooperation, integration, consideration,
I love it.
appreciation. These are great energies to focus on. Focus on that, find where you're not in appreciation and do something about it. Change is key and action's required. So inspired action is the goal. And then make it easy. She wants to make it easier for people to find that by realizing it's a realization technique, realizing who you are,
Right.
realizing who you're meant to be. You're not meant to be everything to everyone. No, your modality might be leadership. It might be the accountant. It might be personal relationships and sales, very specific to your job. And people's dreams might become the reality if they get the courage up to realize that their potential is waiting for them. There's tremendous potential out there. And I think it's your goal, our goal, to connect people to that possibility. Because right now it's at best it's a dream, and for most they're not even dreaming that. They're dreaming misery.
And
And
I
and
think so. There's a lot of books out there on the subject. I know that Gene Keys is also part of human design. So you were kind of mentioning numerology, astrology, I Ching, all these different influences of the human design. So who kind of put all of it together? Is it just one person, or has this been sort of a developed thing over time?
His name was Ra, that developed the human design system. And since he has come along, he's had many different people he taught. The very first person he taught human design to that earned a certificate to teach was Richard Rudd, who is the designer and
Oh,
architect of Gene Keys. And
that's
so
right. So that's how it connects. Okay, that's what I was wondering.
he's a very good student of the whole system. And each one of it turns out we have a gene key for each of our signs. So we have a gene key that governs our sun sign, our earth sign, our Mercury, which is our communication, how we love to talk, our Venus sign, which is all about what we love, our Mars, what we're passionate about. And then in the gene key book, it goes 3 or 4 or 5 pages talking about exactly what this gene key governs. And the I Ching is the foundation of that whole system. I Ching
Mhm.
has been used by the Chinese for thousands of years. They use it as an oracle system that we
Right, right.
Naomi's here to share it. So it's not so much about Richard Rudd, it's about what
Well, that's
Naomi's.
how she's the student as well. So he's another student that's brought through some interpretations of the work, right? Is that
So, so
what you would
to
say?
so to the benefit of the audience, then Naomi's interpretation of this structure, she interprets it to individual.
I bring
And
it to you.
Right.
it's
And you
Mine
did
is
such a good job with that because I've had many people, well, a couple of different people talk about my human design who studied the charts and everything, and it was definitely not as in depth as where you went. So that brings up another question that's just, this is more of a natural question that just kind of has come to me is what has been your journey with the human design? How did you fall upon it? Like, how did it come to you? I mean, I'm sure it's part of your mission, of course, but I'd love to hear sort of the beginning of how that sparked interest and the genius within you.
Well, it came to me during a dark night of the soul where I felt very alone. And I was taking care of 6 kids by myself and really struggling to find meaning, purpose, and passion and wherewithal to do it. I knew I was going to do this and I knew I would do it well, but figuring it all out and working it out from day to day to make it seem like it was an easy job I was very assisted by all these works to just go deep and figure out who I am and how this is going to happen. And I did figure out I had this gene key called number 28 in my radiance, where I do things that it makes hard things seem easy. And it's because of my ability to be all into it and to just totally embrace it and make it happen. Failure is not an option. And so I just fully embraced it and went for it. And miracle after miracle unfolded in our lives. And we are somehow taken care of everywhere we went and really guided by spirit. I feel like that spirit looks upon those who are taking care of the young with kindness and favor. And so we were blessed everywhere we went. And things went good. Yes, it was a struggle, but it was a worthwhile one. Finding the
That's
right
so
fight is
awesome.
very important.
Yeah, and then you realize it's not a fight. It's a fight to find your heart. So it's a journey into the heart. And so the heart is our biggest asset, and very few people go there. And it's the most painful place to be, because the closer you get to your heart, healing happens. And when healing happens, the tears fall. So there's that's our purpose here. It's not to make $1 million. It's not to impress people on a stage. It's to connect to your heart. And if connecting to your heart is your purpose to be on stage, then you're on the right path and you'll do great. And you know, people have their boo-boos and their imperfections, but the greatest thing is their smile. Are they smiling? You know, then they're on the right path, you know.
I love what you said in our last interview about making eye contact. If people make eye contact with you with a smile, they're on, like lights are on in there, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a splitting of the earth between those who are overwhelmed and those who are rising with the new energies coming in. And so
Oh, it's
if
so
you're
beautiful.
but we want to help those find their light, find their passion, find their desire, find their ability, and align with it. You know, you can't lift your head off the table, you know, if you're sick, you know. So that's, you know, it's a package deal, because people in the audience might be listening to the argument that Naomi says connect to your heart by finding out who you are, but criticize Naomi because they got stage 4 cancer and they can't lift they're in a pity party, they're a victim. So it's just, we want to, I'm you included, we want to assist people become victors in their own story rather than victims. I did it. I survived. I made it. I can do this. I can quit my job,
Right.
take a chance, go self-employed.
And we
connect-
all have these heroes' journeys. Like I know, Naomi, you started to tell us about having the 6 children, raising them on your own, how overwhelming that was, and that you really had to dive into that dark night of the soul just to really see why it was so important to study what you studied and do the inner work. Because to me, that's what it is. It's because you have such a unique way of looking at the human design. You've really gone deep. You can tell that you've gone really deep with that. And then Adam Masters here, sitting with Naomi. He is healer of the healers. He
Yeah,
helps give healers the key ingredients for health, giving results coming from the realm of infinite potential as infinite potential.
yeah, but my
So,
work is no good until you guys come forward and create that desire, that willingness to sparkle, willingness to shine, willingness to do better. Yeah, I can show people how to heal physically. I'm a physical healer, cellular healer, blood healer.
And his life work is connecting to the heart. That's how he does it. He's the authentic.
right.
He's the authentic connector. He's the romancer. He gives you plenty of reasons to want to heal and get well. And that's given to him by his
So,
gifting.
so I recognize the talents in both you guys. You guys need to step up, step forward, and reach out to those who are desperate, who haven't found their heart yet. They're just waiting. So don't worry, don't despair. I say just, you know, connect, do a session with you, do a session with Naomi, and then come see me. Once you realize, yeah, there's more to
Right.
life than despair, right?
Right. It's time to start that path of healing on that cellular level that you're talking about from the heart. But sometimes you really need that
Right.
reason why. I mean, because if you don't have, because we talked about that as well, is that there's got to be an intention behind the healing. You really have to put that out there first. And if you don't really have that intention, which is what Naomi helps to formulate, I feel, After talking to Naomi, I was on fire. I was just like, yeah. So it really does help a lot. It's like knowing yourself and understanding some of the reasons. All of us have our idiosyncrasies and our soul signature of like little things we do. And I love what you brought up about the core wounding, because sometimes we get stuck in these wounds and patterns that are just part of a story, and we just need to flip the script, or maybe focus on more of the strength so that you can override that.
Every single shadow has a gift. They all do. And as you see it as a spiritual journey, it's nothing to be hung up about or beat yourself up. It's just something to transition and be open to. And that's where my specialty lies, is the change. It's all in the transfiguration of what you think are your wounds. They're not. They're really latent assets.
I love
waiting.
it.
See, pause for the cause. We're not in a rush to the finish line. Just polish up that little diamond. We've got it.
Exactly.
See, you know what? I learned more from the eyes of a person pushing a shopping cart who struggled their whole life. The wisdom in their eyes is deep. I learned so much. And any person I've ever met from a suit and a briefcase, and it's like, huh?
And his gifting, his Jupiter, what's handed to him on a silver platter, is knowing emotionally how to deal with a absolute crisis. He can be calm in a crisis. He can be calm holding the hand of somebody who feels like they're at death's door. That's where he really shines.
Yep. So I hear, I might be the captain, on the Titanic, and the ship's going down, and the crew's all panicking, and I'll say, well, find a big cork and stick it in. It's not big enough. How about a rowboat?
Right. Pop. But yeah, see, not everybody has that design, though. Not everybody has that in them, and we need everybody. That's why, it's like finding that special. Like every soul is so special, and sometimes we get stuck in the stories that there is no meaning, or there is no. Even me, I have moments where I'm like, man, I'm so uninspired right now. But then after talking to Naomi, I'm like, well, that's what that is. I'm just, literally holding myself back, or just maybe even being confused about my direction. So I would say that's really the value of learning about these, little things that you're offering, is you can really find that reason for being and getting around some of those shadows. Because I think most of us get hung up on that.
Measure twice, cut once. Take that step forward. Make sure it's not in, a puddle of mud. Just think about. I say, hey, yeah, that way. Here's how I healed myself: is I just look where people were smiling, where people were healing. I followed doctors who were curing disease. I wasn't interested in any doctor that had a protocol to cope with disease. Not interested. Click, off it goes. I'm over. Next bandwidth. Who's healing disease? Bring them. I want to hear them. I want to hear everything you got to say. And I heard a whole podcast one weekend, and off I went.
And you won't be very interested in spiritual ascension if you don't have your health.
Yeah.
Health is the key to all abundance in life.
Well, it's like we're taking our bodies with us. It's not just about the spirit. Some people just hyper focus on that, and our bodies are, this is our vessel,
It is.
Yeah, you don't ascend into master third dimension. And it's an inclusive thing. Ascension isn't an upliftment, it's an alignment to the energy of it, which gets a little deeper into broader aspects of the incongruent, the intangible.
Well, so Adam, you we didn't talk about this on the recording, so let's just go over. You were introduced to the masters. You said they were coming to you at night at 3 a.m. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd meet people like yourself and Naomi who were quite psychic, and they would say, "You're going to write a book." I go, "That's not going to happen." I hated Shakespeare, I hated poetry, and I hated reading and writing. It was like nails on a chalkboard. Sorry, got the wrong guy. It happens, right? So, but anyways, it did happen. I just opened up to that possibility, and then one night I just wake up. So I have my computer screen ready and Word, these chapters ready and empty blank, ready to fill up. And I've got 10 chapters, and they'd stream every night at 3, it was actually 3:30 in the morning, and then I would write at 11:30, and then the pressure and the pressure, there was a pressure, subtle pressure of overwhelm of information, and then suddenly it would stop at 8 hours later, 11:30 in the morning. I go rollerblading or hiking or boating, swimming, and then go to bed early. I'd be organic juicing and eating powdered proteins and different things, and then just come back at it again. Did it for 6 weeks, wrapped it up, and then so that was my book. Anyways, I brought it along just in case anybody wants to know. Health disclosure. So my website is healthdisclosure.com, and Naomi's is soulmedicinewoman.com. Soul Medicine Woman. So that's a mouthful. Mine's healthdisclosure.com, like the book title says.
So this brings up a question for both of you, and you guys can kind of choose how you want to answer it. But how do you two work together to help maybe somebody who's in a state where maybe I guess crisis would be the best scenario, but have you guys ever had a situation where you work together? Like how do you guys work like that?
She's the sugar and I'm the spice.
Of course.
Here's your medicine. Boom.
You know how you've got, well,
spoonful of medicine or sugar, right?
Good cop, bad cop. He's going to be the one who tells them directly how it is and what they need to do
I'm a little blunt
to start feeling a difference in their health in a couple of days, couple of hours, couple of weeks. And then a couple months later, ameliorating all of their health issues. But first, they need to feel the love. So that's what I'm here for.
So introduce all my clients have to come through her first, and feel warm, to feel good about their journey. That's gonna have to, it's like playing Twister. You got to do some things, right, to achieve outcome. You got to do some things to achieve health, or your outcome has to be without belief. You have to drop all belief, because everything I'm going to tell you is opposite to what healers and doctors and naturopaths are taught. And that is, all disease is a sine wave. All I do is collapse it and then get into signaling. And then what does that mean? I could explain it. Maybe I can do an interview next week or something,
where you go into more detail. Yeah. So with Naomi, and I would have to say that's perfect, because you do have this nurturing energy about you. It's this, you're a devoted mother of 6. I read that about you too, which is really beautiful. But yeah, you've got this beautiful divine mother energy. And then Adam's more of like the father figure. So it's a beautiful symbiosis between you two.
And thank you. That's very sweet. I have the experience myself of going through real health challenges too. When I was in my 20s, I had Raynaud's disease, multiple sclerosis, infertility, so bad I couldn't get pregnant for 5 years.
And now you've had 6 children.
Right? I had 3 miscarriages, and all these things are no longer issues anymore. So I'm really enthusiastic about the fact that I know healing is right on the table just for the asking. If you can open your mind to the possibility that you can heal everything, if your spirit wants to heal, and if your spirit wants to heal, then you can do it.
Let the horses run.
It really is the belief factor, though. That's really what I think both of you have the gift of, is you come about it in a different approach, but like that's really the foundation, is just the belief, and where are you focusing your energy, right?
I do.
Exactly.
We both do. I do healing, touch healing with the masters. They come through me, as much healing as a person can tolerate. So somebody who's a light worker can take far more energy than, say, somebody who's not. And so I do, but I mostly do physical healing. I'm a physical healer.
He's been doing it since he was 8, where he could go through people in a line that were standing with their headaches and their head, and take them all out by squeezing their neck and making him feel good. He's taught it to my son, my youngest son, and so he can do the same thing now with bringing profound relief and comfort in a crisis.
Yeah, intention is 9/10 of the law. So just have the courage, to step forward into your power through the teachings of the gene codes to find out where your blessings are and learn where your challenges are. Mine is I must be invited, to heal somebody. There isn't a disease. This might scare some people, or it might lift people up. And it depends on your reaction to whether you have success or no success. Your reaction to what I'm about to say. There isn't a disease I haven't solved at any stage, terminal or incurable. Any medication I haven't removed a client off, and there isn't an elective surgery I haven't canceled at a hospital for anybody I've worked with. Hip replacement, stomach removal, liver transplant, kidney removal. There isn't kidney dialysis, 60 days. See ya. The worst case of Lyme disease. Just follow it. That's the best outcome.
So if you can open your heart to that ability,
there we go. We're back to you guys.
You are 90% there.
And that's where I feel I've learned that too, because it's literally like a lot of these doctors will tell you these horrible things about, oh, you're going to die in 2 weeks, or all these, like, some people have had these kinds of consultations with doctors. And that's what I think the gift is with Adam, is that he's really helping people really turn that around, because that's what I think Earth has had off balance for so long. It's just, we're listening to the wrong people.
Exactly. Well, these people have been trained by the wrong people. They're not necessarily the wrong people. They've just been taught
by the wrong
that
programming. It's like years of ancestral, so many years of this training. That's just, when you're looking in the realm of infinite possibilities versus finite, and we've got the time system and the 3D matrix, it's like night and day. It's like opening up to infinite possibilities, which like you said, it can be a little overwhelming for some people, I think, and almost some people would be in a state of disbelief or even anger, or like, they would probably accuse us of blasphemy or whatever. It's almost like how it was in the Dark Ages.
Saw it back when I was working with my older children 30 years ago. A couple had brain injuries, and we went to the Institutes for the Achievement of Human Potential and the Family Hope Centers out in Philadelphia, who were both affiliated with one another, and they were healing brain injured kids right and left. All the doctors had told these parents they should put their kids in an institution and walk away. And I saw these little kids reading faster than any conventional children, playing music beautifully, doing gymnastics and speaking articulately and several languages to boot. And I started getting really excited about what was possible and thinking, really, it's only our beliefs that stop us.
Yeah.
So true.
The right teachers.
You guys.
For you.
Yes,
we want you to get well. We want you to feel great. We want you to have all the abundance in life. And will you take our hand? That's what we're holding our hand out to offer to those who really want to get well.
What healthy male wouldn't want to have a relationship with?
Well, so here's one final question for you guys. I want to answer, or I want to ask both of you individually. So this question, I feel, is something that's been really important on my heart, is just, what is your perspective on what's most needed for humanity to live in harmony with the planet and reach unity consciousness? Because I know that's sort of a big,
it's one word.
Yeah.
It's cooperation. Right now we're existing in this patriarchal mindset of competition. It's not about being better than someone else. It's all about how we can bring our energies together to the whole and cooperate, bring the best of what we have to the group, and let us help each other as a group. Find your little niche, find your little.
It takes a village, right? I mean, where did that go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you go into these subdivisions and they have these big, tall 6-foot fences, and you don't know your neighbor, you don't know the dog
Right.
next door.
Bars on the windows. It's
and
like, what
a
happened?
constant stream of negativity and fear coming from the press where everyone's afraid of each other now. Instead of seeing a neighbor as a potential lover, friend,
Right.
a partner.
When I
You know,
lived in California, it was very much like that. I would walk down the street and people would look the other way or just look straight through you or forward. And it was very weird to me. I remember because I would still say hi to people, even the people that would just ignore me. And I'm like the small town Utah girl that's like, hi. And they're just like,
Yeah.
so that's why small communities are very much better in a way, because you get to be authentic and everybody knows their neighbor, and then you tend to act more correctly. What would
and
you
it's a
say is the most?
community
I say,
vibe. Like that whole networking vibe feels so good to know that, hey, if I get a flat tire, I have 5 people I can call, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
there we go.
I like that idea.
There we go.
And
Now,
what about you, Adam? What would you say? Would you just agree with what she said about?
cooperation is the headline or news. That's the headline. But what makes up, how to achieve that? Appreciation, gratitude, get out of fear. Like you're walking down the street, of your city, and you can't look or smile or say hi to anybody. Otherwise, you're seen as an outcast. And
Or some people believe that it would open them up for attack or
uh,
something,
what's under attack is their heart.
right?
And so there's steel iron bars around the heart.
Yeah.
And once you get to the heart, that's where your power, intuition, knowing, forget knowledge. Knowledge is nonsense. This planet's backwards. Everything is backwards. Death care is healthcare. What? Healthcare is death care, because toxins, as we know, amplify toxic conditions. So there's no way a toxin can heal anything. It can prevent, it can sequester, it can buy you some time, but we're here to live and we know how to live. So we want to share how to live. Our idea is how to live, and we're open to others people's how to live. We learn from each other. We'll learn from our own students. We'll learn from our own clients, like patients. And I was just wondering, opening up to the idea of doing maybe like a healing retreat. I'll teach healers what I know. I'll teach clients what I know, and then have those students help and learn how to reverse stage 4, stage 5 cancer. And
We were
I think,
talking about that, like the
yeah,
Naomi, you and I. We were really excited about maybe doing a cooperative retreat. So
yeah,
that's in the works. So we'll stay tuned, and you'll definitely be the first to know when we're going to be doing that.
I think we've got Sedona we can work with. We all know and love, and we've got Palm Springs, California, who we're familiar with, and I've got a couple spots in Canada that we could work. Possibly, if
Right.
doors open up. We need people interested. And I thought that might be interesting. Maybe off topic. It's just it just inspired thought that,
Right. So we'll probably start formulating a little list. Whoever's interested in something like this, you've got like the powers of multiple healers, especially we've got, Adam, who's here to help healers also learn how to heal in a more direct heart-centered way. And then we've got Naomi, who is very much behind the heart of the mother and going a little deeper into your why and your mission. So really helping you get into alignment with who you are. And then, of course, I specialize in getting into your body. So I help people get, centered. You learn how to treat their bodies like a temple through nutrition, meditation, and yoga, different things like that. So we'll just combine also the connection to the earth. I
fantastic.
love
Yeah.
reminding people of how important it is to just be out on the earth. There's this natural earth wisdom and magic that we can tap into. So that'll just be like, we might even have more healers that want to come together to put some kind of a contribution in there. So, it's all about cooperation and, synergy. I love the synarchy idea, because that's definitely my mission. It's very much I am love. We're here to show people how to live that way. So My last question for both of you that it really came through strongly from spirit today was, what is a daily practice that you would recommend to anyone watching this right now that really helped you with this lifestyle?
Breath work is the most profound. It's the most simple. It's the most immediate way to heal and connect to your inner self. And it's something you should practice every day for about 30 minutes. Just set a timer and breathe 2 breaths in, 1 breath out, 2 breaths in, 1 breath out until you actually will go into the higher dimensions.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I was doing it at age 13. I was long distance running, 2 breaths in, 1 breath out. The struggle is to pull it in. Easy is out. So it made sense to me at age 13 to pull it in twice and then push it out. And then I could jog twice as far. Breath work lowers cortisol levels, so it increases absorption of nutrition. Nutrition accelerates repair of cells and then brings the calm and peace to your cells, which I get into in advanced healer training of still point. And still point is the next wave, the next level of healing. So it's just trying to capture people's imaginations. It's breath work.
And while you're doing that, set an intention for the imagination. What's the highest version of myself that I've ever imagined I could be or feel delighted I could do?
Right.
Your childhood and imagine yourself dancing or singing or expressing yourself in the most joyful way possible. Was it riding horses, jumping off ropes, swimming, all the above? What did you imagine you could do and be? And that's probably the direction you could head. Just imagine whatever, if everything went perfectly well for you, what would you be doing? What could you be doing that would bring you the most ecstasy?
So your misery ends up becoming your ministry.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it really does.
So what is your struggle? Everybody's down here is here to experience struggle, so people don't realize that, before you incarnate, you set out your list of struggles that you're here to endure and rise above. We're here to just help you do that. I mean, who wouldn't, with you guys,
That's what empowerment's all about.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like literally instead of resisting the struggles and judging the struggles endlessly, which is where a lot of people get stuck on, really looking through it and seeing ahead of it. And then there's always the rainbow. I'm all about the rainbow after the storm. So, of course, the storm is still important. You need that water to nourish the land, the soil. To me, it's like looking at life as storms are just as important as great weather. Living in California, I really got tired of it being sunny all the time.
Yeah, terrible, terrible thing. Yeah, it's sort of what you just said there. To add to it, it looks like laundry coming out of the washing machine. It looks so fresh, but you've been tumbling through life, getting boink in the heads and boo-boos on your feet.
Right, but you need that spin cycle to squeeze out all the crap, right?
That's what we should call that healing retreat, the spin cycle.
The spin cycle. Oh no, that sounds like it could get messy.
Broken
but
hearts.
That's good. We welcome the tears.
Well, you build upon it. What's your story? I mean, the story is made up of a victim and perhaps a perpetrator, and maybe a savior. And in the middle is where is the ideal place to exist, and outside the story, and create your own story. Mm-hmm. And I think I've enjoyed my story of healing from diseases no one's ever survived from. So, and then using that to the benefit to train 1,000 healers or 100, whatever, God knows what. I don't know the level of interest, but I think with you guys I could add on an extra 0.
All I know is what I love that you guys both brought up breath work, because that's always been important on my journey as well. It's literally like when I tune into my yoga practice, and if I'm sharing my yoga practice with someone, that's the first thing we do is we're bringing consciousness and awareness through the breath. I mean, the breath is like coming through our bodies. It's our life force energy. So when you're actually just focusing on the breath, even just that alone is really profound. So I love that you guys both highlighted that. Yeah, any last words before we sign off? I think this has been an incredible little hour together.
Let's get together in person sometime soon.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I don't know. I think all we have is, I think we have. I think a lot of people would benefit, and then I'd benefit. I think Naomi would benefit just connecting with you, even in person. It'd be great. Big hug, good food.
Absolutely, yes. Soul family. So, Naomi, you're offering more than just human design. So maybe tell our listeners how, or, on what level can they work with you? I guess they can visit your website is a good start, soulmedicinewoman.com.
My phone number, my emails on the website. And I love to work with people on over a long period of time is where you can see a lot of change. There was a lot of information I gave you in your reading yesterday.
It
And
was
we
a
can
lot, but I'm like, I feel so transformed just from that one, session. And thank you so much
so
for your
happy.
time. I could just feel the love in every word that you shared with me and that you had really, you know, dove deep into that. So, yeah, she puts her heart and soul into everything that she does.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And it turns out my life work is for change. When people are at a key juncture in their life where they need a transformation and they feel motivated to make it happen, I can definitely make that lay out the red carpet for them spiritually, emotionally, physically, and then Adam does it very much physically and spiritually too.
And Yolanda's a fire sign, so she just lays it all out and lights the wick.
Love of
Cool.
self, love of
Right. Like
Yeah.
just yeah, I love what you said about the red carpet. Yes, just laying it out there for people. Like, hey, this is what's possible, you know?
That's it. We're all adults. We all appear to be adults, but in many ways we're still children and have room to grow. And it's courage, and it's okay to heal, and it's okay to heal differently. For me, my family, it wasn't okay for me to heal outside the medical system. And so I didn't judge it. I just said, that's, your experience, but I've found a different one and it seems to be working. And the more I did it and the more I healed, the more incensed, the more enraged they got, and the more distant. But I got more, as I distanced myself from them, I got closer to me, and
right.
closer to
And
Naomi
that's
and
just it. The
myself.
inner child is like part of the core heart of who we are. Like if we lose touch with our inner children, which most people are conditioned to discard their desires, which is that's the inner child is your desires and your passions and your play.
Yeah,
So, why
that's
would
true.
you suppress that?
It starts in school at a young age where the kids are taught to line up and go from class to class at the sound of a buzzer, and they learn how to follow directions and be automatons very early.
Yeah.
That's what made me a fan of homeschooling because it just felt more natural and more enthusiastic and more fun and more authentic.
Individual rather than
Right.
indoctrinated army type.
Well, I think everything's being reorganized right now. Schools,
Oh yeah.
the educational system, the medical system, all of it's going to be completely different. When it's on the foundation of the heart, everything's going to change. It's like it has to.
Oh yeah,
It'll
we
be
don't have
so
a.
fun. It'll feel so good. It'll be just a completely different to be in more of a matriarchal, nurturing type of culture
Right.
than
And in,
one
a,
that
and in a balanced way, because I feel like that's the other thing that gets a little bit looked at in a negative way is that I think the patriarch and the matriarch could be balanced as a, unified field instead of just one is better than the other. It's like that's the thing that's been, I think, out of balance for so long.
it's a synergy.
So the patriarch is chopping the firewood and the matriarch's cooking with it.
All right.
Cooking with ideas with Yolanda and Naomi.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, both
Yeah.
of you, for just tuning in today with your lovely, the energy and the in where you guys are at. I just felt like such a family energy when I first tuned in with you guys. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. We've got the full moon and eclipse, and it's Wesak festival as well, which is a beautiful, Buddhist holiday of love flooding the earth. So we're all sending you blessings anywhere you're at on the planet today, and Is there anything else you wanted to say to bless our watchers today?
Well, for me, nutrients are good and toxins are bad, and all disease is anaerobic. That's all you need to know. How about you, Nan?
Let's all leave a legacy of legendary love, shall we?
Yeah, I
Right.
love it.
It's-
Don't be afraid to shine.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to shine, I'd love to show you how.
Absolutely. So
Right.
tune in.
Website again.
Soulmedicinewoman.com,
And what's your phone number?
760-399-2595.
And then,
And text, I take text. You can, that's the only way to reach me.
oh,
Do
text.
text that first, then I'll call you back.
Oh, really?
Life
Yeah.
Okay.
changing. I will say right now, life changing. And everything that Adam's ever suggested to me has been a huge, deep cellular transformation. So, yeah, they're both just lovely to work with. And of course, if you'd like to, get in touch with me for anything, it's yolandacurtis.com. So stay
What's your
tuned.
website? Yolanda. What's your website?
Oh, yolandacurtis.com.
What?
Huh?
There you go. And mine's healthdisclosure.com.
Yes.
Adam Masters. And I put my phone number on 424-200-8196. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't
Oh, yeah, I know,
We'll
right?
blink at it.
Well, I mean, if it's on your website, then I think that's good. So,
I was just kidding.
well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for Wisdom
You
Wednesday.
always lift me up every time I talk to you both.
Yeah.